Yo, yo, yo. Check 1 2 1 2. Straight up off the top of my head. Here we go. Episode 111. LucidFlows returns. He's back, you guys. I haven't talked to him since the Primordial Brew live podcast event. And he dropped by. So Lucid is also not only a rapper, as you guys know, but a very talented artist. And he was recently fired from his job. And now he's having to make his own path with his art, freelancing, I guess, doing murals, doing side projects. And it was an interesting conversation. Just, another one of these conversations with someone that I want to talk to about how the pandemic is affecting them and their craft. And so we got into that, of course, other stuff. And his, rap trio, I guess. Is it a duo trio? I guess it's a duo with Joker. I don't know how Joker is. He's the producer, maybe? Anyways, Mokes. Him and Lou Rip and Joker of Mokes, M-O-K-S, will be performing at Lemonade Park in the West Bottoms this Saturday, you guys. The 12th, September 12th. I believe it's a free event, and it should be a good time. LucidFlows, you guys know him, love him. I love having him on the podcast, and I'll have him on again, of course. And this was a good time. Enjoy it, guys. Boom, schlock, boom. Oh, I got nominated for Best Local Podcast in Kansas City. Go to my Instagram, hit the link in my bio, and vote for me, or go to thepitchkc.com. Yeah, thepitchkc.com, and then you can vote for the best of. And if you are so inclined to vote for me, that would be dope. Bye, guys. Enjoy the episode.
Welcome to the Inno Talk podcast. We'll no topic is off limits. Now here's your host, my daddy, and Roy the Soul. Thank you for coming to the Inno Talk podcast. Boom, schlock, boom.
Are you ready? In 3, 2, 1. Here we go. This is so exciting. I feel bad for people that don't get to do this. Sundays are the best.
Yeah.
I love doing the podcast. I love seeing you. I've been excited to have you here.
Ryan, I love to see you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming back.
Yeah.
We've been kicking it for a little bit. I got to hear some new songs from Mokes.
Yes.
You're half of that squad. Or
yeah, well, a
maybe
third.
a
Half
third,
the
right? Yeah.
rapping dynamic duo, and then there's Joker 70, our
okay.
trusted producer. So we form like a triangle or triad.
Devil's Triangle.
Wait, upside down pyramid. I don't know.
It's very strong.
Yeah, man. How you been?
Pretty good.
Wait, are you supposed to ask me that?
No, ask me. We're just hanging out.
Yeah.
We were kind of informal a little bit, kind of just kicking it. I watched you eat your lunch.
Yeah, my wife.
But now we're getting time to
lunch.
We save it for the podcast, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to.
Yeah. Well, I think last time I saw you was pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
It was at the
Primordial
Brew. Yeah, that was fun. That was a great night.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you think so.
Sean Edwards was the man, and
what a cool dude.
Chevin put it down. Yeah, dude, his stories were real fun to listen to.
Isn't he just a cool dude? Like, that's like one of those guys that's larger than life.
Yeah. Like he lives a life that seems pretty fun. Yeah, for sure. And a lot of. He does a lot of tasteful name dropping. Drop your jaw a little bit,
right?
I'm sure that's intentional, but also real. And so that's dope, man. That was a good night. And then I've been on 3 other times. One time with Lou Rip as Mokes, and then twice before that. Yes. Yeah.
You've become a friend of the show.
Yeah, probably no longer the most. The most often guest on your show. There was a time where I think it was when I was on the 3rd time. You said that I had been on the most.
You're probably still on the most.
Maybe. Let's bump that up. I won't wait as long next time.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we did talk right when the pandemic kind of first started. Like, and I'm glad we waited. Hopefully, you've had some time to adjust, if you will. But maybe not. But you lost your job, or right?
No, yeah, I got laid off in May. Yeah, man. It was actually pretty decent timing if you're gonna get laid off, because
it was.
Well, I had the stretch from when we first went on lockdown until the end of May to do the homeschooling and kind of catch that groove.
Mm-hmm.
As well, I had just moved into a house that has a studio space that had yet to be a priority to get set up. So the quarantine gave me a good incentive and validation to really focus time and energy into making that a workable studio space.
That's awesome.
Which was great, because now that's where I'm working.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got laid off, the stimulus money really helped to give me a runway to just kind of start doing my own thing. And now I have a pretty busy workload generated just sort of on good fortune and word of mouth.
Good.
I have plans for self-promotion, but I haven't even gotten to them because I've just had stuff coming my way by the good graces of friends and acquaintances and stuff who, like me.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. You've crossed my mind plenty of times, just kind of wondering. I mean, you seem to be doing all right, but
today
Today
I'm doing all right. It's been a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, some days,
because like you're just like
so
your own
sunny.
boss now, and you're like have to hustle and get your own.
Yeah. So there was the stress of getting laid off and how am I going to deal with this, and then the elation of getting work coming in, and then the stress of, okay, now I got the work. How am I going to deal with? How am I going to do this? And just a lot of self-doubt and a lot of I don't know. There's so many factors that just are playing into one's mood these days, and it's really hard to even parse like one specific influence from the others or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So what I got laid off from, I worked for a marketing firm for the last 7.5 years as a senior conceptual artist. My title had just changed to senior conceptual designer, and that was part of like the sort of buyout merger situation that it was like the second merger in as many years. And it was, I mean, I get it. I totally get why I was laid off, because you don't really find the job title senior conceptual artist in marketing firms. It's a title you'd find in the entertainment industry, in the video game industry, movies, stuff like that. And the reason for the title is because my skill set is very specific and specific in that it has a lot of versatility to it. I do illustration, graphic design, environmental design, 3D modeling, rendering, animation, video editing, murals. It's sort of just like a visual toolkit or whatever that it's tricky to consolidate into an easy explanation,
right?
And so that's kind of what I've been focusing on since, is how to, first off, going through the last 7.5 plus years in organizing my portfolio and consolidating it into a digestible and communicatable, a form that people can understand. And so I don't know, it's been good, I guess, but not easy. And it was something that I wanted to do anyways, but
when you wanted to do it,
yeah,
and then kind of be forced because of some pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, so I can't really hate on the universe too much for just kind of like kicking me off my arse and forcing me to do what I wanted to do, what my heart had been telling me I should do. But I have little kids, and I'm a very like family first kind of dude. And so it's like the priority being family, the art and music that I do was always what I would fit in on the side. And so what has happened with this shift is myself as an artist, my identity as an artist, as a musician, is all these things are now like pushing that forward is what is in the best interest of my family, because that is now the financial generating engine. That's the economic engine that is going to help me provide, for my family. And that's the best play right now, because I do have a skill set that, I've worked for a lot of bigger companies and companies that look great on a resume and in the portfolio, doing stuff for LG, like
just what little you've even posted. I know there's more you can post on Instagram, but like your stories and stuff, you're just it's the talent is incredible. Like I can't wrap my head around someone that can design that kind of stuff. Like you see your art in your brain, and then you can actually put it in a computer or on paper or whatever. It's just like three-dimensional thinking, and it's just insane to me.
No,
like,
I'm a visual thinker.
Like I can do that. I can picture basic things in my head and maybe learn how to create something like that. But like, I don't know. You're like, a lifelong artist, so it's crazy, intense, and it is an amazing skill set. But you're like, I don't know. You're exceptional. Like. Yeah, you're like one of those exceptional artists. There's plenty of artists out there, but when you see your work, you can tell you're like an exceptional, like if you were in a different time.
Yeah, I've followed sort of
like if you were born like a few hundred years ago, like how we'd know your name by it. We would know your name with the greats.
Well, if, if I had as well then also kind of like met the right people, right? Yeah. And I don't know, before now if Kansas City, and before these past decades or whatever, if Kansas City would be a place that someone could do work for Disney and live in Kansas City, or do work for the New York Yankees and live in Kansas City, or work on the Minnesota Twins baseball stadium. And that was years and years and years back. But then doing stuff for AMC some few years ago, like just poster illustrations, that kind of thing. Just the opportunities that exist right now in Kansas City is a very unique circumstance, because we do have national and international architecture projects that are, they start here. And then the marketing firms, there's a lot of really big, powerful marketing firms in Kansas City that have huge clients, and I mean, the firm that I left, I mean, I can't even hate on them. I think that it was a business decision on their part, and I even understand how, as the company had grown, like when I was with the company, it was 40 people, then it was easy for those people, for the leadership, to understand the nuance, or like the breadth of what I do, and that I don't necessarily fit in the typical category, like an associate creative director, or creative director, an art director, or any of these specific sort of roles that they're used to. And in reality, I can fit into any of those roles, but then it's constraining. It doesn't allow me to do the other stuff. And really, if I have an added value, it's that not just that I can do graphic design, because I'm not a great graphic designer. I'm a well above average illustrator, but there's still illustrators out there that blow me out of the water. I'm good at murals, but you go to LA and New York, and I would really have to get my game up. And so, I don't think jack of all trades is kind of the right term, because I think I'm better than a jack, but it's Orion
of all trades.
Orion of all trades. It's the interplay of those things, like having a unique approach to one of the projects that I got is one right now is one I'm really excited about, and it's this woman, Jackie Nguyen. She is doing a Vietnamese coffee shop trailer called Cafe, and when she approached me, Like she has really cool branding, this Vietnamese dragon and these flames and a great color palette and stuff. And then the trailer is kind of like a tiny home
cool.
that's refabbed for being a coffee shop, right? Trailer. And then I look at it and I start getting ideas of like, how we can break it out more dimensionally, like how we can add something onto it. So it's not just approaching a surface as, okay, what am I going to paint on here? But how can we think about this thing from all sides, and how can we like sort of augment it so that it's in some way a more notable, makes a more notable impression, or if one wall is going to be an Instagram wall art piece, then like how do you break it out dimensionally so it's not just like a pair of wings that someone can stand their back to and get their picture taken or something, but how can you think about it dimensionally?
Have you figured that out?
No, I'm gonna start on that this week. I have 3 murals going this week that one design is almost done for a Headless Hands tattoo.
Where's that at?
It's on Johnson Drive. The wall that I'm gonna be painting is butter. It's gold. It's like 50,000 people a day driving by.
Oh, sweet.
And that design's pretty well worked out, but I won't divulge that because I haven't talked to the owner of that shop yet about
about what
sharing that information. No, he's seen the design, but
you come up with a design beforehand. Like, how does he come to you and say, hey, I'd like you to put a mural on my building?
He came to me like 8 years ago ish, before I had kids, or when I was first starting in the marketing firm, because I'd been freelancing before that for like 5 years or something. And he had hit me up about possibly doing a mural. And then when I got laid off, I just kind of intuitively reached out to some people, like not thinking through it logically, just like who feels like someone that I should reach out to and say what up. And my dude Vince, who's a really cool dude, he tattoos there. He had kind of been the conduit to that, and found out, I don't know, I think I posted on Instagram or something that I gotten laid off, and maybe he offered to see if the owner, Sean, who's a really cool dude, really amazing tattoo artist, if he was still interested in me doing it. And then lo and behold, Sean's like, well, we're on quarantine, so let's talk about it, but I do want to get it done at some point. Let's just see what happens. And then things started opening up, and then he was cool with just kind of proceeding. And I'm grateful. It's like those sort of leads and interest that have given me a start to this thing.
Okay, nice.
You know what I mean? So and the right kinds of projects.
But how does that work? Then when the design comes up, does he just trust you to come up with something, or did he tell you what he kind of wanted? And like, how do you go about your designs with your murals?
That one's unique because he's a really good artist. So usually, I'm the good artist providing the design to the client.
Mm-hmm.
But because he has an attuned eye to it as well, then I share something with him, and he sees a way to plus it up.
Oh, cool.
And so then he'll do kind of a round of quick and dirty, like Photoshop mock-up suggestions, and then it comes back to me, and then I do another round. We've been going back and forth for a while because just life's so busy and managing the other projects that I've been trying to do to generate money. It's kind of he's like, I'm in no rush. Let's just do it right. And so that's what that project's about. And that's what I'm excited about, is that it's going to be a visually dope, impressionable kind of piece that isn't something typical of what you find in the mural scene in Kansas City yet. And also just breaking new ground down, on Johnson Drive. The idea of that is really cool because downtown's gotten really saturated.
Mm-hmm.
And when Syke and I did
the
racket mural wall, like the area 17th and Locust, where Second I did the racket mural wall, like that area was virgin territory pretty much, except for tags and a few like little murals here and there. And that piece came together, and also the Pendergast piece that I did on 18th Street by Grinders. And then, I mean, I'm definitely not going to suggest it's because of those pieces that the other pieces came, but I was fortunate enough to be on the very forefront of kind of that wave. And now that whole part of downtown is just, as you know, because as like we met down there, it's so saturated and it's dope. It's great. It's fantastic. But then the idea of breaking new ground somewhere else that doesn't really have this cultural presence in it is really really enticing to me.
Yeah, right. That's cool. That's just not a spot. Like when you first said it, I just didn't think anything of it.
There's nothing
and
like
now
that
I'm
down
like,
there.
wait a minute, Johnson Drive.
Mm-hmm.
That's Johnson County. That's Kansas. That you know, that's not the city. That's not open-minded. That's not bright, colorful. That's cookie cutter shit out there. They're not looking for something that stands out like that. Like that's like homeowners association.
Yeah, but you know, I don't think that's by choice of the people that live out there. You know, and so
I don't know. I guess, but you're gonna.
I don't know either. That's presumptive on my part.
Well, me too. But I associate more Karens and Johnson. There's a reason you don't see that culture out there.
Yeah, and there's a reason,
and so that would be dope to kind of start seeing that come out there. Because why not? Why not?
And it's not going to be like a graph piece or something. You know what I mean?
Well, no, I trust that it wouldn't be something.
But I think that's a big part of it. Also, is just and something that I attune myself to heavily is what makes sense where. Right. Mm-hmm. So rather than being like, I'm an artist and this is what I do, mm-hmm. and I'm going to go in this space and I'm just going to do like my thing, I'm much more about kind of like problem solving. Like I guess I see it as an equation to solve. Like here's the factors of location, the people here, what the client wants to see, or like in the case of Headless Hands Tattoo, I just hung out in the shop having a conversation, mm-hmm. and looking around the shop, and they have all these really cool curio cabinets of like skulls or like little jars with like baby sharks in them or something. That, like
baby sharks.
Oh my god! Oh, don't put that in my head.
Put it in everybody's head right now.
Yeah, man. I went to that live performance, by the way.
Was it good?
Well, we got free tickets.
Was it worth it? Was it worth the free?
Worth the free tickets? Was it worth the time? Was it worth seeing the glow on my kids' faces while they
did they love it?
Yeah, I mean, it was very, very well produced show. Cool. I mean, they certainly forced the storyline to accommodate like an hour plus show around a 2-minute song. Right. You know what I mean? So like anytime you do that, there's gonna be some filler.
How many family members can you add to this song?
They made filler. They made the filler colorful. It wasn't horrible, but cool. It was better than a visit to the dentist. But it certainly would not have been my first choice of how to spend the afternoon. Yeah. Anyway, back to Headless Hands Tattoo. It was just kind of like, what are you into? What do you like about this aesthetic? What do you, that kind of thing, like kind of like exploration of aesthetic and interest, mm-hmm. and trying to think of a way, in my mind, simultaneously balancing what compositionally could make sense in the provided space, as well as how can I engineer that visual to not be something that is too hard for me to pull off, something, like kind of assembling all the pieces in my brain at simultaneously to offer a solution that I've already sort of solved for by the time the words are coming out of my mouth, and then working from there. And this is gonna be that's gonna be an ambitious mural because instead of
when will you start that one?
Hopefully soon. So like I said, I have 3 this month, and 2 of the clients want theirs done this month. So I'm also really grateful that that project is like, just make sure it's done right.
How long does a mural? How long do you expect these ones to take?
I mean, it depends.
A week for one?
Yeah. If you're focused. But
is that just you?
These will be. Yeah. I mean, I could definitely see if I get enough work going that I'm going to need to enlist help. But right now, there's too many moving parts, and a big consideration is, I mean, school hasn't started, and I got 2 little kids, and so, what's cool about the Vietnamese coffee shop trailer is that we can park that in my driveway, and I can paint it there, and my kids can hang out outside with me and ride the bike around me, and hopefully not knock the ladder out from under me, and then for the ones that I have to travel to, then it's like making sure that we got someone watching the kids, obviously, or whatever.
Where are the other 2 at? Or is it just one other one? Are you counting the trailer as one?
Yeah, the trailer's one.
So the trailer, headless hands, and
the other one I actually just bid on, so I don't want to jinx that.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see if she says yes, but that's in Blue Springs. It's a really cool
no, is that
job. It's like a butcher shop that
you tell them what your idea is. Like, how does that work? Like
that one, they have a very clear, like, crystal idea.
Okay.
So it's just kind of coming in and doing a little bit of design work, laying stuff out digitally, but she very much knows what she wants. Everyone appreciates that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it works both ways. It's like if someone wants me to conceptualize something, then that kind of just gives me more opportunities. But at the same time, you don't want all the projects to be like that, because it's nice to, I don't know, I'm really like a spice of life, like let everything be a little bit different in its own thing, and let's not get too repetitive with it, because that's boring. Back in the day, I did architectural illustrations, and I mean, it was exciting. That's when I worked on a lot of like major league ballparks and collegiate ballparks and stuff like that. But doing illustrations, basically like visuals of those, and I did digital paintings and watercolor paintings. And so there was a long stretch of time where I was developing the watercolor technique and refining it to where it was, it was exciting for me to see the progress. But then after a certain point, it's like, you've painted so many people and so many crowds and drawn, painted so many trees. And
well, that's what happened with Picasso, right? And that's why he got like so good at painting just normal, regular stuff
at like 15.
And then he just got bored with it. It's like that's why he got weird shit. He's just like, I'm just bored. I'm just gonna do.
He mastered it at like 14 or 15 years old, and then I mean, if you've mastered something just after you hit puberty, then like you got to get weird with it, right? What? How else are you gonna keep yourself engaged and entertained? And I mean, he really flipped it on its head and owned it. I mean, that dude was a boss, man. Just rather than I'm going to be the person that the art world has deemed someone needs to be the artist of note. I'm going to decide what that is, and I'm going to tell you what it is, and the whole world's going to accept that. And he did it. I mean, big balls of brass and the skill to back it up, is what made, I don't know, that guy. I mean, he was a force, like a force of nature, that kind of artist. I'm a big Dali fan too. Salvador Dali is one of my favorites. Went to some museums of his and like see his work in person and just see like how his doodle lines, like he'll have like scribbles, but the scribbles are a line of like riders on horses, but they're fucking scribbles. You know what I mean?
Whoa,
but that's how articulate his brain to hand connection would be that something that looks like someone just jotted their signature, when you fix your eyes on it, you actually see that it's a picture.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like that sort of level that as I get better,
that's
I can only appreciate.
Level. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's why he is who he is, and why, you know, his posters are in dormitories all over the country.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever done tattoos for anybody, like designs or anything? Like, has anyone said, "Hey, I like your art"?
I have.
Oh, cool.
I try and suggest to people that come to me for that they let the tattoo artist design it, because I'm not a tattoo artist, and I think that how am I going to know what the best tattoo is for that space on you when I don't have a really great comprehension of what it takes to make it happen, you know? But then I have friends that if they have an idea and you know, they want me to draw something, like, I'm not going to say no, but I'll do like the conceptual sketch that then I'll say, you take
this to the guy that's going to put it on you forever.
Yeah, and let them establish the style for it, you know, because I mean, there's a vast variety of types of, you know, tattoo styles, and that's another art form that I just have a really high esteem for.
This day and age, I mean, it's crazy how amazing, how far tattoos have come in just the past 20 years.
Yeah. A lot of that's got to be like the inks and
the Kat Von D, the shows, like the what was that ink show? It was a Kat Von D something. What was that one? I used to watch it.
I don't watch reality TV. Well, there was like
I used to watch
LA ink shop, or like
and
there are all kinds of, I'm sure this.
Yeah, there was a dude that did, like, he specialized in dragons. He had some awesome dragons. I liked it. I don't like reality TV unless it's like trashy reality TV. then I'm in. Give me the Jersey Shore.
Yeah. You know, I don't know. I mean, there's got to be
Kat Von D's, whatever it was.
There's got to be a reason for you to check it out, right?
Yeah.
And it's whatever your bag is. I think like reality TV is cool for me if it like, you know, if I'm interested in the topic, but even then it just feels like you're cheapening. I think that you're on the right side of it, because if you're going to sort of bastardize or cheapen anything that you're into, then you might as well just go all the way to like
worst shit out there.
Yeah, like I mean, the people that own it, you know, recognize what it is. They're not gonna front like this is a design competition or something. They're just like, yeah, we're gonna exploit.
Yeah, we got cameras
exploit these
around
people's
us.
Desire to be famous and what they'll do for it, and the lengths that they'll go to get that.
One of my favorites was Love. Gosh darn it! What was the name of? Gosh darn it! It was with Flavor Flav and Brigitte Nielsen. Flavor of Love.
Oh yeah,
Flavor of Love.
I did watch some of those.
It was so good. It was just those two gallivanting around the world together, pretending they weren't having sex, like pretending they weren't together, and they made just the oddest, craziest couple. If you don't know who these two are, just Google Flavor Flav and Brigitte Nielsen. She was Dolph Lundgren's wife at one time, right?
I don't
or Rocky
even know.
Stallone's Rocky Stallone, Sylvester Stallone. Like during that time, she was one of those, like a wife to one of those two. Okay. Maybe both of them. I don't know. She's like a tall 6 foot something blonde, and then you got Flavor Flav. What is he? 5'5", 5'4", short,
but larger than life. Yeah,
larger than life. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's why you couldn't not watch that, is because fucking Flavor Flav, like.
Oh, and Brigitte Nielsen's just, I don't know if on pills or what. She's just fucked up the whole time, drunk. It was such an interesting dynamic. It was so good. She would call him Mr. Foofy and Mr. F. It was so good. If you guys can find that, watch that for just a couple episodes.
People love watching a train wreck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I try and. I mean, I'm entertained by it too, but I try and keep myself.
I don't get sucked into it too crazy. And it's been years. I mean, that one came out probably 15 years ago or something like that.
Yeah. Well, so I don't watch TV almost at all anymore, unless if I stream it. So like,
I'm a YouTuber myself. I watch a lot of YouTube stuff.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
that's where I could see myself going. For me, it's podcasts. I'm a podcast junkie.
Yeah.
Because then I can visually focus on whatever I'm working on, and and take whatever the podcast is, if it's entertainment, if it's informative, if it's historical or whatever.
Right.
And paint, design, whatever, and kind of have those two sides of my brain engaged simultaneously in their own thing, but also sort of working symbiotically, in that I'm not getting distracted by, I'm going to get this wrong, but presuming the left side of my brain that is listening to the podcast that would be trying to inform the right side of my brain that's trying to tell me what to draw or whatever.
Right.
It becomes, I don't know, it's sort of like sliding into a
mental
slightly
gymnastics.
meditative state or something, it's great. I mean, there's podcasts for everything, and I think that's what's so great about it, is that
everyone's got one. Hell, I got one.
Yeah. I don't have one, but as long as I know people who do have them, and I can come chop it up for a little bit. Yeah, well, and
we find out tomorrow.
More and more.
Find out tomorrow if I got nominated for the best local podcast in the pitch this year. It comes out tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, I voted for you.
I don't like my chances.
No,
I don't feel it this year.
I mean, who's feeling anything this year? I don't.
Right? Yeah.
Like, who even wants this to be their year? Because
that's a good point.
Like, wow, everyone had a horrible year, but this one person, fuck you.
Yeah. What a weird year. 2020 it started up with Australia on fire.
Yeah.
And just progressively got.
I did a woodblock print for.
Oh, I saw that.
For that. And before I could get it out, the next tragedy had completely I think it was COVID was like here, and now no one's talking about the Australian fire. I'm like, I don't even know if that's still going on. Surely.
I had so many questions about it.
About the fire?
Yeah, I shouldn't say so many, but I did have questions about the fire. Just like the devastation, like after, like some of the effects, because I know Australia is heavily populated with invasive species. Like that's been one of their problems, is they bring in a cat to take care of a mouse. They brought that mouse in to take care of this cricket. They bring all these things, and it just keeps unfolding to crazy shit they got there now.
Yeah.
And they were saying how many billions of animals were killed in that fire. I'm wondering if any of them wiped out any of the invasive species on that island.
Or if the invasive species even caught a greater foothold because the natural flora fauna was devastated to a degree to which it could take advantage or something.
That's the part. Yeah, that's the big issue with.
It's freaky, man.
With invasive species.
Yeah, because you will just wreck an ecosystem.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering if it took out, I don't know, all of something.
I'm interested as well, and I'm still sitting on that woodblock because I know that there's just going to be more fires next year, and at whatever point it makes sense, then that also was intended as a like relief fund, generating like a modest amount or something that I could donate, and right now I'm not focused on raising money for other people. I'm trying to raise it for myself at the moment, but hopefully get myself to a point where I can I can start reincorporating things like that into.
Everyone's in a weird.
Focus.
So many people are in a weird spot right now. Just
jobs.
Like how many people have gotten late? Like
paradigm shift, dude.
And the stimulus, $1,200. Whoop-de-doo, that did nothing. But I guess the extra 600 people, $600
that was
that
meaningful.
People,
I'll
that
say
was
as
huge.
someone, as someone
that had to
who
have been huge.
Ended up leaning on that. I got. I don't know if I'm supposed to. I don't know if when you get laid off, like what you're supposed to talk about.
No, you don't have to talk about nothing. I'm just saying in general, like we had so many people,
would have been
and now that
relevant
just ended.
Information, but just the stimulus really helped me to have a buffer that when it went away, I had things set up in a way that now moving forward, I'm hopeful and it feels like it's working.
Nice.
And without that, I would have, I think, been more considering of options less relevant to my skill set, my job history, and do something more like just get into something that'll generate money,
right?
Because I don't want to foreclose on the house or whatever, and that sort of reactionary step could redirect my life for a very significant amount of time. And I mean, for myself, feeling like I'm getting to a point where I'll actually get to sort of realize or validate my art in a more potent way.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that was due to having just that runway, that buffer of time. So I was grateful for that. I mean, if they figure there are people in much worse situations.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's
than
what I'm
me,
saying.
and
like that just ended,
mm-hmm.
and now we're gonna get to a point. Like we've had all the COVID. Now we have all these riots. We have all this unrest. We've got the election coming up, and now we have all these more people. Like all the economy's gonna start catching up with the end of the stimulus, with the end of the extra money. Like if that doesn't get extended, like we're gonna be even. Like we think 2020's been bad, and everyone keeps thinking how bad 2020's been, but you just look at Facebook. People don't look to the future for very far. 2021 does not look like it's just going to magically turn into some well, and this isn't the opposite of Cinderella.
All the parallels drawn with that and the Spanish flu, and the Spanish flu was not 1 year; it was 2 years. I mean that's a big point that the disease doctors like to make, is that wasn't just a season that started. Similar time in the year, had a swell, went away,
it came from China,
and
too.
then when the fall, well, no, it came from Kansas.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
What did?
Spanish flu.
Spanish flu, I thought it came from China.
No, Spanish flu from the early 1900s.
Yeah,
that was from Kansas, dude.
Are you sure?
Yeah, the reason it was called Spanish flu was because since there was a world war happening at the time, none of the countries acknowledged that there was this flu epidemic that was ravaging their populations and their troop numbers, and so it was going totally unchecked, and the major country not involved in that war was Spain, and so they were the only country that actually reported on the flu as the pandemic or epidemic or whatever it was, and so the media outlets kind of all universally just started calling it the Spanish flu because it
devastated them.
To tell people it came from Spain, not that it came from Kansas.
Oh, I thought it was. I thought it was. They didn't know. They were saying it came from Spain. I thought they were just saying it because it hit them so hard. That's what I heard. That it just hit the Spanish harder than anyone else. But that makes sense.
Maybe they didn't.
That makes sense that nobody else was reporting it but them, and you see that them got wiped out.
I mean, because if Germany found out that France's numbers were being heavily depleted by this flu, then I mean that's the ammunition right there. That kind of information, you don't want that getting out, that you have a weakness, even if it's a universally shared one. Like in that sort of situation, you gotta front like you're powerful.
Well, we were due, right, for a pandemic. Like, isn't it just kind of? It just happens.
According to the experts, we kind of were lucky to make it this long.
Yeah, I mean, I've been, because I'm obsessed with ancient histories and different societies.
Yeah, me too.
And there's some different temples that they find, different South American temples that just look like they've gotten abandoned. And they wonder, what the hell? Why did this, there's nothing. They just all of a sudden people just disappeared, and it still seemed like everything was perfectly fine. And now they're thinking, oh, it was probably a pandemic. Some kind of disease wiped a whole.
It's usually the
whole
speculations
civilization out.
typically disease, famine, drought. Like those are the three big ones.
Yeah.
Seldom.
But we usually know about like the famine and drought ones. Those are usually recorded pretty well.
Well, I mean, you're talking about like Mayan and Incan empires and Aztec and stuff like that, where, I think a lot of records. I mean, it's like, not. It's not like there's like books or diaries or something, right? It's like a lot of field work and speculation, and I'm sure each situation's entirely different. I don't know. I don't know.
It's crazy. It's Yeah, you don't want to live through a pandemic, but at least this one isn't like devastating. You know, I'm sure it's devastating to people, but
it's just
that we know of now. You know what I mean? It didn't wipe out like.
The worry is like, is this the big one that once we get through it, then it's, you know, sunny days again, or is this a precursor to something even worse?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
They just found their first case that someone was reinfected.
Yeah, I saw that.
So that sucks. That wasn't very long.
Dude.
That was not very long. I was hoping for a longer buffer zone than that.
This disease has kept us on our toes.
And what's going to happen if you get it the second time? Like, does it change completely? This virus is so weird. It's got so many different...
The long-term ramifications seem potentially pretty bad as far as, like, lung scarring.
And a lot of people, yeah.
Yeah, and it does seem like the desire for media outlets to be quote unquote on top of this or breaking news about it has really led to a lot of speculatory insinuations that then change, and everyone's like, wait, you know, how come our understanding of this thing is completely shifting right now? Why is what you said it was not what it now is, you know? And you know, it has proven to us that we don't know. We don't yet know the total face of this enemy. And then our own internal, I mean, you're a history buff, empires and stuff. It's like, you know, the parallels between the sort of internal disintegration of the Roman Empire and its eventual fall and what's going on.
Every empire falls.
Politics.
I've been thinking hardcore about that lately. I think we are witnessing the fall of the American Empire. I think this is like the tipping point, like the spearhead. Like this is the tip of the spear right now. It's just starting, and I think we're gonna start seeing it. Yeah, you know, it might take a while.
I think it will take a while. I don't think that's.
But I think this is like
going to happen overnight. But I mean that's the parallel with the Roman Empire. It was like it wasn't any one emperor, any one like change of laws. And I mean, I'm not an expert in this shit. I'm totally just an enthusiast who you know, listens to a lot of podcasts. That's my caveat. But you know, my understanding of it is it was like the degradation of the structure within the government because of individuals' pursuit of power and their willingness to break down like stopgaps and safeties that are sort of built into, you know, sort of the judicial side of these things. And that's what's happening now. Like they're just trying to take it all apart, and it feels like a cash grab to me. And
China's on that grab too.
I'm not partisan in this thing. Like I'm not one side or the other. I kind of see them all, government, like both sides, as complicit. They're just both doing their own games. And I do think that there are people on both sides that genuinely feel they have a civic duty as leaders to try and do their due diligence.
To think that.
Yeah, I like to think that. But I mean, I personally think that Trump is an absolutely abhorrent individual. Personally, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
It's not the opinion of this podcast. It's the opinion of myself. I just, and it baffles me that people are so willing to, I think probably really good people, are willing to look the other way on so many things because it's advantageous to, one's career or whatever. And
I don't think anybody wants to vote for the guy. The people that are voting for him, I don't think they want to vote for him.
Well, I mean, before he galvanized his power, his own party, everyone, so many, like he had the seeming minority of support from his own.
Oh yeah, the
party
Republicans
structure.
didn't want him. They didn't want him.
But once it was clear the way the wind was blowing,
yeah,
it fell right in line. I mean, it's like
other
than McCain and Romney, like.
It's funny to watch Ted Cruz. I mean, that guy. I mean, Trump called his wife ugly. in front of millions of people,
dude.
And now Ted Cruz is like trying to be best friends with Trump. It's gross. Politics is disgusting.
I was in one meeting, a development meeting in New York for
Ted Cruz didn't say anything, by the way. He didn't defend his wife. He was just taking it. Sorry, go on.
No, you're good. It was a huge development project, and I don't know if it ever went through, but I remember during that discussion, people dropping Trump's name as someone interested in this project and just experiencing the gravitas of what even mentioning his name in association with the project, the response from the other people in the room, and it was notable, and that was like 15 years ago or something like that, or maybe 10, I don't know, somewhere in there. You can't take that dude lightly, and to a degree of effectiveness, I have a lot of respect for his ability, because what he has pulled off is really remarkable, just like in all the worst ways.
Yeah, I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm probably voting for Kanye. I didn't vote for him the first time. But it is interesting to see.
Don't vote for Kanye, man. I mean,
just as a...
If you're not going to vote for either of the two, also don't vote for Kanye. That's something else I'm going to say.
No, I love the Kanye vote. I think that's just like, fuck all you guys. I'm just throwing... This is how ridiculous the system is.
I know.
This is how ridiculous everything is. I'm voting for Kanye.
I agree. So pick a less emotionally wrecked, narcissistic person.
There's no good choice, Lucid.
No.
There's not a single good choice. Would you rather have 4 years of Trump or 16 of Kamala Harris?
SpongeBob SquarePants, man. I mean, like if you're gonna go absurd, like at least pick someone who. But if
Kanye's on the ballot, wouldn't it be fun?
Yeah, I don't know. It disturbs me too much, man. It bothers me.
Trust me. I've thinking about the fall of the American Empire. Like it has like I was telling Charlie before we started the podcast here. I've been thinking. I have in my head right now, just thinking. I think I want to do a trip to somewhere in another country for like 5 weeks.
Sure.
And just get lost in like Southeast Asia and just.
That'd be amazing.
Get away and then see what it's like, and then maybe like I don't know.
There's just so much like the fall of the American Empire might not be that bad afterwards. I mean, you look at what happened to Germany post World War II, what happened to Japan post World War II. Like they made out pretty well in the scope of things. Like
sure,
it doesn't. I don't know. It's not like it's just not a black or white thing, and like. I think our need to be number one is what also kind of we believe like if we're number one in military, then like we're number one in everything else, and everything else just sort of slides.
That's just human history, though. Like, isn't that kind of what we have to do? Just judging by human history? Because
I don't know.
I mean, we think everything's fine right now because all the countries are taken. But there was a time when we were on horsebacks and we were trying to take over territories. Like the Mongols tried to take over the world. Like they were wanting to spread their territory.
Did a good job, yeah.
But now we think that we're good now. All right, all of these border lines are on maps. Everybody has their little spot now. That's it. But China keeps moving over. Like China's trying to take Taiwan.
Russia too.
The world. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so we kind of have to, right? Like that's just from human history. You have to have the bigger, badder empire of military force, or else the bigger, badder one. China's doing a lot of shit all over the world. They're buying up a lot of things.
But okay. So there's short term power display, and there's long term sustainability, right? And we spend. I don't know the exact percentage, but it's a vastly greater amount of money on our military than everyone.
I'm not going to defend the military budget.
I'm not saying like to get rid of military dominance. It's just like maybe leverage it so that we are ensuring that we're military dominant in 10 years as well, and that we're not going to collapse between now and then because our,
but
the
shit
whole
can
thing's
go down
built.
at any moment, right?
Shit, man.
Shit can go down. You never know when some dictator's going to go off. Kim Jong-un's dead. His sister's.
Is he?
I believe so.
He's in a coma.
I think he's dead. It's been a body double that they've had out parading around. It's been a body double.
I heard about that. That was a couple of months ago.
No, this was like recent. Like I think he's dead. I think it's highly speculated that he's like dead.
Because the recent news, they say he was in a coma.
I could be wrong, but this was like days ago. I almost texted 96.5 The Bus because Slim Fast is like a big Kim Jong-un fan. I was like, oh, did you see the news? Because I think they think
Like
he's dead.
interested in him, or he actually
loves him. No, he doesn't like his policies, but he's like fascinated with him, like probably like Dennis Rodman type thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then his sister takes over. Like, you never know. I don't know. I'm not too afraid of them, but they never know. They could accidentally get some kind of missile to land somewhere.
Yeah.
And then, China's on their side. You just never know. Anything, any minute could just pop off.
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah. I think we didn't even need to experience 2020 to know that was the case, but especially now.
Yeah.
It definitely feels like anything could happen, really.
I mean, tensions are up worldwide.
Yeah.
People's pissed off at China. They lied to everybody about this. We could have had it stopped. It probably didn't have to turn into this.
Yeah. And I feel like what people totally miss about this is that there's these small groups of people in the government of these countries that engineer these tensions, that put all of us collectively at risk.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a huge step to just recalibrate your focus from what the talking points are to your own assessment of really what's best for everybody and what maybe we should be focusing on as far as how to make sure that our neighbors are good, how to make sure that the people that we live with and around are good, how to how to just step out of this accelerating dynamic that really, where can it go but catastrophe, and decide that there's something that's more important, and it's sustainability. It's that that despite all the sort of military and government aggressions, corporate practices are compromising our environment to a degree of unsustainability that is affecting everyone, and that we're all truly in this together. And I would hope, and I think that like COVID probably connected the dots for a lot of people, that we're going through the same thing that Italy went through, and like we're all kind of dealing with this thing together. So like, why does it need to be? I don't know. I mean, why can't we? Why can't we see that we all have more in common than difference, and that there are benefits to just like appreciating the other people in the world, and that these
it's like
assholes
that,
at the top that are engineering their own agenda that really is just like, they just want to be in power. They just want power. They want money and power, and it doesn't really matter what happens to see that end. And then you're going to wind up with a fucking king and emperor standing over rubble and just like, yes, this is all mine.
It's all mine. Like Scar.
Yeah, man. Turn the Pride Land into fucking hand it over to the hyenas. Yep. Yeah, I'd say we're there.
Yeah, well, we'll switch gears to something a little happier than COVID, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
You did something with a local rapper most people locally would know, and a lot of whatever. Ubiquitous, UBI of Cess Crew. Yeah, you did some kind of Instagram live thing with like drawing him or something.
Yeah, that's my dude. you and I go way back.
Can we find that somewhere? Because I tried looking for it, and
it's on his stream. We did it on his page. I'll send it to you.
On his Instagram?
Yeah, it's on his Instagram.
I tried looking for it. I couldn't find it.
It should just be on his. I'll find it. I'll send it to you. So there was a festival that they threw, Sept Crew threw years back called Sept, and I'm pretty sure that's when I started doing this live art piece that, the event was lit. It was very packed. I think it was at the Record Bar, and they're performing, and I was doing like a live art painting of Godimus and Ubiquitous, and Psych had done like some tag stuff on like the corners, and then through a bunch of moves, that art piece just kind of sat unfinished amongst a whole bunch of paintings and canvases and stuff that have traveled with me when I didn't have a painting studio. And so when I was unpacking into my new painting studio, I found that piece, and I just, I saw it, and I was like, man, it looks so rushed. It looks so like I could do so much better now. And I just had that hunger to like, let me dig into this thing and see what, how I can build on top of what's here, but kind of bring a newer style, a crisper style or whatever. And so I started playing with it, and then I sent some pictures to Ubi, and I just had the idea of, I'd been thinking about doing Instagram Live, which I haven't done it very much, because I feel like I should be doing something interesting, and I need to take time to set up a scenario that, or to consider like what is the scenario that other people might actually find interesting.
It's a tough one,
right?
If
it's like a camera that's like on my sketch pad, I'm just like drawing something or whatever, or rapping something or whatever. In this case, I decided that it'd be cool if he came over and we just kind of chopped it up, talked about, there's a lot of the Sept Crew history and his history, that me having been roommates with Gotti and Ubi at the time that Ubi was first brought into Sept Crew, and they were making the very first singles and EPs and albums and stuff. And I did, it was either Psych or I doing like all their artwork at the time. And just being there, it's so much fodder for a good conversation for just he and I to have. Mm-hmm. But then also to share that, because he and Gotti have fostered a really good fan base following, especially with the help of Strange Music and Tech 9 and Tech and Travis putting them on Strange. I mean, their fan base just exploded. And so of course, leveraging that is why we did it on his page, because the 65 or 100 views or something that a live stream of mine would eventually garner, right, is nothing compared to the 2,000 plus that we got the first day.
Yeah, cool.
Of having done like a 1 hour session. And so that's kind of, and so what we did was we had two cameras. He had his phone. I had a camera set up looking over my shoulder on my canvas. And then it was just sort of like a conversation while I sat there.
Like a podcast with you painting?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Yeah. Like I'm the interviewer.
You're the interviewer and wow.
Yeah. Okay. It's like this. We're just talking or whatever. Yeah. But I thought of questions beforehand that, things that maybe I have insight in that, maybe have never come out, or I even just dug out some of like the old albums and stuff and, set them by Ubi. And so Ubi could kind of like, oh man, check out this album that we did or whatever. What was this? This was the first, single that we put out, that kind of thing. And it was so
stroll down memory lane.
And it was so DIY back then. Like there was a disc that Ubi was spray painting the Sept Crew logo on all the discs.
Oh,
wow. And just as a way to, because it costs money to get stuff printed, right?
Right.
But then the not knowing better, that would gum up inside
the paint
of
would
like
come off,
DVD
right?
players or like a CD player or whatever.
Oh my God. You guys broke so many CD players, I bet.
I mean, they weren't moving the same numbers back then, so it probably wasn't too bad. But it's just those kind of really, really funny insights or whatever. And that gave me the idea that this would be a platform that I'd like to pursue with other Kansas City creative people, but also like anyone. So that the style of that painting is kind of graphic novel, graffiti-ish, But being so diverse in my artistic disciplines, I can do sort of, like plein air or like still life or portrait sitting drawings. Like I could sit here and sketch you, and there's, pencils or charcoal or whatever, it'd have more of like a art school, refined, figure drawing portrait kind of, flair to it. Or, if I were talking with a writer or something, then maybe there's an aspect I would kind of, extract, an aesthetic from their style of what they do. And, maybe the person's rendered more cartoonishly, maybe person's rendered more, maybe it's more like flat painting, maybe it's a little more abstract, maybe it's surreal or whatever, and just
whatever
kind of
vibe you're feeling at the time,
whatever I'm identifying from the subject.
Okay.
Let that inform like the style, and then let that generate a body of work that I can then do a gallery show later on.
There was a podcast, I'm a podcast junkie as well.
Mm-hmm.
There was one I used to listen to. They've changed formats a little bit, but it's called Kill Tony.
Okay.
It's a couple comics, established comics watch open mic comics do like 1 minute material.
Uh-huh.
And anyways, they started off doing that, and they also had like a painter or some kind of artist like yourself would come in and then just draw something from like just in the corner the whole time, the whole night of the show. Would draw like the panel or something like that in like different ways, or just whatever they wanted.
That's
like,
dope.
And then they would like sell it after the show. Like the artist would sell it and take make the money on it. Like
yeah, and I mean ultimately that's a big part of it as well, is like providing,
put on eBay or whatever.
Yeah, well it's like you'd
that's what they were
touch
doing
directly into the fan base of like whoever, ideally or whatever.
That was how they would get it. The only people that would
eBay.
really know about it, and they would just go to eBay and get it that way.
Okay.
I think that's how they did it. I mean, this was years ago, so you could do it your own way now. Of course, your Teespring, whatever website you may have. Yeah,
my websites are down right now because they're built in WordPress and have gotten buggy over the years. Because I have lucidarts.net and lucidflows.com, and eventually those will be back up. Nice. Right now, because I didn't mention at the top, you can find me at lucidflows on Instagram. Or if you want to see some of my visual arts, I've got some stuff up on behance.com, and mine is behance.com/lucidarts, LUCIDARTS.
That's just when you were talking about that, gave me that thought of remembering a podcast they should do. That'd be was really cool.
And you've talked about doing like a showcase format of this show where you have on musicians or artists or whatever doing their thing, and I think that that's something I would love to participate in so far as either the live painting would be the showcase, or you have a showcase and I paint that person or something. You know what I mean? Like figure out kind of a fun way to
what about, I don't know, we're just spitballing.
That's what we're doing.
What if I had like a couple different artists come in on one day? Like kind of stagger them quickly. Like you're here from 11:30 to 12. You're here from 12 to, or 12:15, whatever. Uh-huh. Like 3 or 4 like that, and then you could do like a comic book type of.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Like here's them coming in and like who knows, like that kind of style. Like the one day, I don't know, who knows.
Yeah, but the direction that you're thinking is kind of. That's kind of where I'd want to take it, is something,
an easel or whatever with a camera over there watching you the whole time, and then you could make a video with all the music, and then have like a one of those fast delay time lapse things with the music that was played that you were drawing, and then you could make like a cool dope video of and put that together. Yeah, maybe that'd be kind of cool.
I agree. I think that would be really cool. What I like to do is just have sort of a semi-unique or specific angle on what it is, and you're thinking along the exact same lines, like how could this be a little bit different? How could it be a little more exciting? How could it be a little more appealing, or that's why I like the idea of kind of building the idea around the subject matter, is because
that's great too.
If they work in a specific platform or media, then I think how we would approach the artist part of it can be informed by whatever that is, and that'd be really cool. If it's a writer, then maybe I do like a collage piece where I'm like cutting up books and like using the density of letters for like light and dark or something, make a freaking paper and glue collage that looks like them or something, you know what I mean? But because some of in the marketing firm that I worked for, I got to do some video stuff, some motion concepts. And so like some of the fun things that I did, there was a agriculture project we did for John Deere and some other agriculture clients. And I was brought in to help conceptualize a mural that we'd paint. And I was like, instead of doing a mural, what if we sourced a whole lot of like seeds and animal feed and agriculture objects that would be indicative of our clients and what they do, and then I make the fucking mural out of that, and then we make a video of that, of me making that piece, and then figure out how to in that case it was like we're doing like testimonials and stuff of people in the office who had specific expertise in these fields. And so it's kind of like giving a visual engine or accompaniment to the agenda that supports it. And in this case, it was like, me with a spoon and some soil and like laying down like lines that in the picture are then like crop rows or whatever, and like that turned out really dope. And it was really exciting for all the people involved, because it was like, let's do something different. Let's do something bold. Let's do something that is interesting. There is another one I did that was a holiday mural that I basically did like a paint by number.
So I remember that. You talked about that on here.
Okay,
I
cool,
remember
cool.
that. Yeah,
then
awesome.
I won't get back into that.
I saw that video of that. Yeah,
but
that's so cool.
that was
a time
that was fun
thing.
too.
Yeah, something like that would be dope.
Yeah, man. So let's definitely
we can collaborate.
Let's talk about that.
Come up with ideas. I'm
for sure. Yeah, because I'm all about just doing creative stuff, doing the work, and like build something. Really, I want my client commission work to get to a point where I can allocate and ask like a percentage of my bandwidth to doing these kind of projects that are just like passion projects that do have potential to pay off down the road. But it's also just about generating creative activity and doing fun things and kind of fueling ourselves by doing things that are just kind of based on our own interest. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm all about that. And the music has been sort of on. It hasn't been on hold as far as like writing and stuff, but since the quarantine hit, and then all the protests and just the world sort of an upheaval. It's like what was going to be like a springtime album release for the group that I'm in, Mokes, with Lewis Rip and Joker 70, just kind of we've kept sort of pushing it back, and I think we're getting close to finally feeling like, okay, now it's feeling like a fine time to strategize how to put this thing out. We have our first show in a long time coming up. We're opening for the Abnorm.
Shit.
Yeah, at Lemonade.
I heard he really fucks his fans.
Like literally, or
literally, he really fucks his fans.
I mean, I think a lot of musicians and artists.
He's got a song. He's got a song about it.
Oh, gotcha.
It's good. It's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
He's like, yes, I really fuck my fans.
I think a lot of artists do.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
of course.
Why a lot of people become rappers and shit.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah,
that's why men become musicians. They want to get laid.
Yeah, I'm married, so I mean,
right. But at one point, I'm sure that's where you weren't married and then became a rapper.
In college, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. In college, it was. I mean, you know what? That's never why I did it, but opportunities present themselves, and you're certainly not going to just pass up all opportunities.
Right.
Right.
Don't pass up any opportunity.
Well, you got to pass up some. If
None. Say yes to all of them. Ugly girls need love too, Lucid.
Sure. You know, if I were available and on the market, I would definitely have sort of an equal opportunity perspective.
So Lemonade Park, yeah, you're open up for Abnorm.
Yeah, Lemonade Park.
That's in the West Bottoms.
Yeah, and I haven't been there yet. You said that
really
you checked
cool.
it out.
I drove by it. I didn't get to hang out there, but I went down there for appetizers and drinks last weekend, actually.
Okay.
And then we drove, you drive by and you do this little loop, and then you come by, and it was right on our left-hand side. And yeah, it's Lemonade Park. It's a cool,
I'm excited.
Spot, little stage up there. Yeah.
Yeah. The opportunity came via the homie Steady P and Indie Ground Entertainment, which he's also who invited Mokes to open for Twista, and that was a dope show, which I think we've discussed in the past or whatever. But
yeah, that was dope. I was there.
Yeah, so
I had to leave early that night.
Just really appreciating like the support and opportunities that are coming, and try and maximize those for new opportunities, and that's always kind of been the play, and it works pretty well.
It's a hip hop night at Lemonade Park, huh?
Yeah, that'll be interesting because
do you know who all is on the bill?
Well, so other than the Abnorm and Jay-Z,
Jay-Z, huh?
Jay-Z. Jay-Z, yeah, no, he'll be there. So come buy a ticket and show up.
So I was like, yeah,
and watch us. And don't be
Jay-Z,
mad at me
if
Jay-Z. I'm pretty sure Beyonce's gonna be there too.
I heard it.
If Jay's gonna be there,
you heard it here, guys.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
The power couple.
Yeah, if it doesn't happen, don't be mad at me. But definitely buy a ticket and show up, assuming it will. For sure, and check us out. Make sure you're there in time for us.
How does that work? Is it you buy tickets at that place, or?
That's a really good question. I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
I don't know the answer to that. I mean, I know there's
it's a hip hop night.
There's
I'm
event
excited.
pages and stuff.
I'm excited.
Yeah, and I'll post that more so with some like promo stuff.
September
on my
12th.
socials.
You said?
It is September 12th. Yes.
And what is that? A Saturday, Friday? What do we got there?
That's a good question. I'm pretty sure it's a weekend.
All right. I'm gonna have to get a babysitter.
Dude, definitely come out. Yeah, absolutely. It's a Saturday, which is perfect. Okay. That's great.
Saturday the 12th. All right. I'll have to get a babysitter.
And, I mean,
who out there wants to babysit for me? Slide in my DMs if you want us to babysit for me.
The weather is so, like, perfect right now.
It's 80 degrees outside
hot as balls
now.
Last week, but, like, this is just gorgeous. So
I'm ready for some fall. I'm ready for the weather to kind of start cooling off and change. I'm ready for this next season. I'm ready for a lot of things. Hunting season's coming up. I'm starting to get my fat ass back in shape. I ran 4 miles this morning.
Nice, good.
I'm trying to like change a lot of things.
Yeah. I think it's a good time for that.
It is.
For sure.
I'm starting late. Everyone started at quarantine. The only thing I did during quarantine.
A lot of people started at quarantine and then didn't.
I didn't
they
do
already
shit.
stopped.
I started this beard. That's the only thing I've started during quarantine.
It's looking. That's it. It's looking good. You definitely got the rugged man. Like that'll work for hunting, I'm sure.
Yeah, you're supposed to shave it before when I go hunt because I'm a bow hunter.
Okay.
These fuckers, they smell you. They smell you from pretty far away.
I mean, just smear deer blood all over.
I'll shave my head and my beard, but I don't know if I'm gonna do that this year. I might let it keep going.
Do you like paint your face with mud and shit?
No, I got I'm up in a tree.
Buck knife in the teeth, just like
drop
down on top of it.
Yeah. No, I could have done that last year. I had a buck walk right underneath me. I could have jumped on it and I'd say ride it, but it probably would have broke its back.
Yeah.
But I could have jumped on him.
Or might have kicked you in the head.
Yeah.
Yeah. I imagine cornered those things can do some serious damage. I mean, because...
Yeah, they could. They're tough, especially a big buck.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they can get big. They get 300 pounds. It's going to screw you up. That's an athlete.
Yeah, man.
Big old tough son bitch.
Yeah. I wouldn't tangle. We moved from a house in Parkville where we had about an acre, but like everyone around us had about an acre, similar size plots and some slightly larger. So it was just like a highway for wildlife because we were over by like Weatherby, and so there's that lake and there's Wrist Lake, and the deer would just like pass through, and I would see the deer squaring off with like my cat, and the cat's like crouched there, and the deer's like just stomping its hoof, and I'm like, cat, you better move your ass because that hoof will crush your head.
Yes, it will.
Yeah. Good stuff.
So Lemonade Park, that'll be exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. And then we
September 12th. What time does that start? Do you know?
I think it's 7 to 11. But I don't know that that's the official time. That's what I remember seeing.
Well, everybody out there, do a little bit of research on Lemonade Park and what Lemonade Park is. If you're in Kansas City, if you're wanting to look for some new music, some live music, I've been craving live music. I heard my favorite spot just opened back up.
Where's that?
Green Lady Lounge.
Oh, that's
but they're not. Spot. But they're not playing music. It's just open for drinks. They're not doing music right now. So I'm like, doggone it! Like I love. That's my spot. I want some music. I crave live music.
It's such a perfect ambiance for the music that they play there. I mean, it would still be a nice swanky place to hang out and grab a drink, but the music is just what makes it so special.
Oh yeah.
So that's really unfortunate. Hopefully they figure out a way to. I don't know. I mean, what do you put, like, just like plastic?
Just do it
in front of the musicians, or
just do it. I don't know. Just don't sing.
Well, what they call
it's all
if you're playing a trombone, like there's a lot of spit. I used to play trombone.
No trombone, organ, bass, guitar, just keyboard. Whatever
instruments that you don't need to use your mouth and saliva and stuff to. Okay, I could see that. Like, I mean, it sucks. It's kind of like, it sucks for the people that.
It sucks. I want a harmonica.
It's not those, but you're right. A piano, if someone's not singing, then that's not going to be
guitar, bass, and drum.
That's not a super spreader, right? Is that what they call it? If you're a performer or something, I think they call them super spreaders, which also goes back to like fucking your fans. It's like
super spreader.
Yeah,
I have a move called the super spreader in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Heyo.
Pretty sure that's what it's called, because if you stand on stage and you're singing, you're spitting on people. Just like exuding a bigger mist of
they can figure it out. Let's go. Figure it out, Green Lady Lounge. In the meantime, we're going to go to Lemonade Park, watch Mokes. And September 12th. What else you got going
on? Man, I've just been writing verses and doing. You're
gonna have an album or more videos? I know you're talking about it, kind of putting on. Is it putting on hold?
I have an album of mine that's been mastered for a minute, and we have a Mokes album that's been mastered for a minute, and we have a whole bunch of other material written and kind of queued up, and we have some. We have like 3 music videos that are like pretty close to done or can get done when it makes sense to cue them in, prioritize them, and that kind of thing. It's just sort of all these pieces that are floating and waiting to be utilized and put out, and that's a bit what is coming up, and maybe it could have happened sooner. It's just, as I mentioned, it's like with everything going on in the world, it just hasn't felt like a time that, like, it's not about me, it's not about Mokes, it's not about, like, it's about all the things happening. It's about COVID, it's about Freddie Gray, it's about Black Lives Matter, which they most fucking certainly do, and other lives matter too. It's not the point, but all these things happening and all these truly kind of monumental things and things that need to be addressed and currents within culture and all that kind of stuff. It's like, I felt like if you're not speaking on that directly, then don't really need to be cluttering the airwaves. But I think that we're getting to a point where, like, people want new music, they want culture, they want things to feel good about, things to enjoy.
Music's in a weird spot right now. I think a lot of different art. I think comedy's in a really weird spot.
Oh yeah, art, I can see that.
Music's in a weird spot. Movies, TV shows, like the entertainment bubble is just kind of burst right now. It's kind of going all over the place, and they're trying to figure out, how do we form this back together?
But there
what do we do?
There's like space right now for new stuff to.
People are ready. I think people are starting to get ready for it.
Yeah,
my numbers are starting to come back up for the podcast. They took a dip there when COVID first started, and people were laid off for the most part, not going to work. numbers took a dip, but they've been coming back up. People are ready. They're wanting more. They're wanting things. They're wanting to be entertained. They're done. They've watched everything on Hulu. They've watched everything on Netflix. You know, they need new shit. They need new songs. They need something to bump to. You know?
Yeah. So I think, I think we're gonna start making more noise pretty soon. I mean, last year was supposed to be the year that all this stuff was getting put out. We put out 4 music videos. We put out 4 singles. Me and Lou Rip. And it was good. It was like a fun run, and it was a good kind of precursor to what we want to put out. But last year, my daughter's school district had gotten redistricted, and so we basically decided that we have to move. And so that's what last year was about. It's like life just, life
gets in the way for artists, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, man plans, God laughs,
unless
right?
you're like independently super wealthy, it's just life. Just even then, I'm sure it's still. Who knows? I guess. What do I know? I'm not rich, clearly. Yeah, life gets in the way of art.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I'd be highly speculating as to what it's like. I mean, I don't know if you're rich, like, what are those experiences translate? I mean, because life is art is life, right? So it's like, I don't know, what does a rich person's art look like? I don't really know. But I do know that a lot of my favorite artists have, they've extracted from themselves their own, from their own struggles and their own hardships and stuff. And I mean, I'm someone who has...
Oh, yeah, well, once you get rich, then the art stops. Right, the goodness of the good art stops, right?
Yeah, with like the exception of just some, but I'd say for the most part, yeah, like it sort of spoils. I heard something that might apply to this. Someone say that, and this was in context of talking about Elon Musk and like Zuckerberg. And that is,
I don't like him, but I like Musk.
That people's growth is arrested at the point in which they became rich. Like, you grow as a person until the point that you become wealthy, and then that person that became wealthy is who the wealthy people remain. I don't know how accurate that is, but it kind of made sense that, if you find a version of yourself that is immensely successful, even if it's flawed, it would be really hard to decide that you're going to keep growing as an individual. Like to decide, I mean, your value structure would have to be not just based on monetary gain, which mine is personally not, but I'm also not rich. So, I think about, spirituality, and I think about civic responsibility, and I think very much about responsibilities as a parent and as a husband and friend and a son and all that kind of stuff, and so I take kind of a holistic approach to always trying to grow and be more like a better person. But I could see if you pursue money and if that is in any way like exalted above the other things and you achieve that, I mean, that's, so many rich people are just like horrible, parents, or horrible spouses, or horrible whatever. And I think it's because being good at those things is not what got them the money. And then,
right.
I don't know if it's like that for artists too, but I mean, a lot of artists sacrifice those same things, their familial relationships, the other aspects of life become sort of peripheral to this goal or whatever, right? And that's something that I've tried to intentionally stay away from and let my value structure determine that my art, it will ideally beget and foster more opportunities for my creativity to find conduits to travel. But I've really, for a long time, separated myself, like my ego self, from the art and what it's supposed to do. So, I mean, I even pass by or go through like a restaurant that we were talking about Frickin' Frack earlier, right, off air, which is like one of my favorite local spots. And I did a mural in there years and years and years back, like maybe 10 years ago or something like that. And it's still there and it's still looking good. But it's been there so long. Like I'll walk through there and not even register that something I painted is on the wall. I just walk past it and it's part of like the environment because I don't feel tethered to that. And that's just an intentional, I guess, aspect of mine, and possibly part of the reluctance I've had in putting out some of the music and stuff is that same like letting go, like, you know, putting something out into the world and letting it belong to other people and letting other people absorb it and kind of adopt it for their own, you know, that's the beautiful part of it. But I think there's probably a reluctancy of something that my music, since I've had the visual arts be like my bread and butter, my music has been where I put a lot of my personal growth stuff, you know. So a lot of my music, and this is a similarity that Lou Rip and I both have, and one of the reasons that our verses and our music gel well together is because you know, there's a lot of aspirational thoughts that go into this, like identifying better versions of ourselves, identifying hopes and dreams, and trying to give those life, but then also calling out and identifying some of our, you know, shortcomings or whatever, and then also just getting creative with it, you know. Like I initially started drawing because I liked comic books, and I don't get to do a lot of that just drawing for fun these days because it's very project oriented, and lyrics are kind of like that. Like for me, it is kind of a comic book. You know, if I do a song about being a gunslinger, then it's like the whole vernacular is that, you know, I got 2 6-shooters fit with sandalwood grips, together one surefire way to handle bullshit. Blast from the hip, token motion of a gunsinger, blow holes and foes with my front fingers, clutch triggers. Drunk thickers draw carelessly, a perforator lungs to help me get more air to breathe. If I catch one on a run, it's a coward's last duel. Sand from their dreams keep my hourglass full. Coins in their pocket of the lock around their neck. Other profits that I spend posted up in the saloon from high noon till night. Moonshine fills my tin cup. Chin up when guzzling, I chug it till I'm piss drunk. Lit blunt smoking at a card table, stern bluff. Poker face, know the hoarded ace up in my shirt cuff. When the surplus chips is on the rises, when the table turns tough, and then I gotta remind them I got 2 6-shooters fit with sandalwood grips and one short temper known to throw irrational fits. Topple the table, spill my castle of chips on the floor. To hit the door, get into saddles and split. I got 2 6-shooters fit with sandalwood grips, together one short fire way to handle bullshit. Like take 10 pieces, turn around, and blah, leave you slack jaw smoke flowing out your mouth, you know. Like, so just get immersive into wherever the world is that,
that'd be, you know, a good comic book.
I see that as, that's a comic book in my brain. That's a movie. I love story raps and stuff, you know. So like on the album,
I do too. Eminem did phenomenal at that.
He changed the game on that. Like, you know, I'm a mediocre fan of his these days, but you know,
his first album,
he was he was on the rise, the first like 3-4 albums, because it was really through to the 8 Mile soundtrack that he was just he was blazing trails, man. Doing stuff that no one, not like anyone had ever really done. Like there were notable artists of much less notoriety that had done things like what he was doing in very specific ways. But I mean, he blazed trails.
Yes, you
for
did.
Sure.
What else you got in that book over there? You brought a little book to talk to me. Did we hit everything?
What do I got? We talked about COVID and getting laid off. I could mention. So I got laid off. This isn't the first time I got laid off. The first time I got laid off was in 2009 in the financial crisis, and I was in architecture at the time, and that market tanked. And so this was kind of, that sort of set me up for just since then always having the mind frame like this could fall away at any moment.
Nice. Okay, be prepared.
Yeah, exactly. And so you know, there were a lot of lessons that I learned from that, that now I've employed the learnings from that into how I'm addressing this current situation. And I had written a song when that happened. I'm wondering what registers here. Yeah, there we go. It's like, What the fuck just happened? Honestly, it's too much to fathom. One minute I'm working, then out the door that they dumped me from a trash bin, like up and at 'em, we're cutting back employees till the economy is done collapsing, or so they said. Now I'm nervous and sure, but the road ahead of me, what I'ma do? Got the opposite and nothing to lose, more like something to prove to my loved ones, refuse to give up, but I'm coming unglued. Learning to budget my food, mortgage your bills, yeah, if we can even afford it for reals. Yet to be seen, it's not looking good, I'm knocking on wood. I was up, now I'm down. Somebody said it'll come back around if it's meant to be. Eventually, I guess we'll see if my destiny will set me free. Another day gone by, still no cash flow coming in budget. My funds are a tad low. Wish it I had though. Hustle to find work, Google and jobs for 8 hours. My eyes are a little bit desperate, feeling the stress. It's hectic. I'm trying to hit a 7-10 split. Only got one shot, foot in the door, but I can't get it unlocked. What in the blood clot? Just not ready to grab me a dust mop. Swipe my time card through the punch clock. Buck stops right here. It's quite clear as I'm counting up quarters to buy beer. Gotta put it in high gear. Do whatever it takes. I thought this was gonna be my year. Well, whatever the pace. Yeah, I was up. Now I'm down. Somebody said it'll come back around if it's meant to be. Eventually, I guess we'll see if my destiny will set me free. I'm at the end of my rope, feeling a bit too much pressure to cope. Bending to poke a paper clip on my pipe for some rest and to smoke. No job, no money to weeds. What the hell is just as well? Can't for work with cloud of piss, and most of the jobs I've applied for seem to require urine analysis. Background checks, haven't even reached that round yet. In over a year, only had one interview. Phone my dad, like, what am I do? I've been stuck in the rut for a dozen some months, and it feels a bit like I've been punching the guts. Dad's his son, been there before once or twice, and my life is a little advice. Yeah, you up, now you're down. Promise you though, it'll come back around, cause it's meant to be eventually. I'll bet you'll see your destiny will set you free. Maybe he's right and it's just a test to help me become the best I could be or rise above the rest. I want success and nothing less. And that's when I started Lucid Arts. Was like right at that time. So there's like a synchronicity.
Counting quarters to buy beer. I know that struggle, man.
I'm counting up quarters to buy beer.
Yeah.
I was just like looking at my life at the time and really just saying exactly what it was, just trying to illustrate with words. But I mean, that was therapy, just writing that when I'm like mowing the lawn and just stressed the fuck out, you know. But I mean, my wife and I look back on that time as kind of a good time because we buckled down. We were mindful of what we did have. And, you know, it's like if you own a crisis, you own a setback, then you also own your response to it. And that can really result in some strong insights, confidence, just capability, you know, knowing that you can handle a situation like that. I mean, at the same time, this situation that we're in now is a whole other level, because it's not just a financial crisis. It's a financial crisis that was brought on by a global pandemic that also highlighted a lot of civil unrest, and there's all this other stuff going. So then, despite whatever lessons I learned last time, now it's stepped up, and so
more lessons to learn, right?
That's how I look at it. That's how I look at it. That's
all we have. I mean, you just have to. If you're gonna get through this and survive and thrive, if you will, you just have to look at it like there's a lesson here you have to learn individually.
I think it's a choice to look at it that way or not.
Yeah.
And I think that is what I've found to be the best approach.
You're doing amazing things. I'm glad it gave you at least a little nudge or kick that maybe you needed to get you building your studio and getting things,
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's stressful as all hell being a provider for a family, getting a new house.
Us doing this right now, a week ago, this would have been a much different interview. A week before that would have been a much different interview. Like each day.
Be even better next week.
Well, I mean, I want to come back on soon with Lou Rip and Joker, our producer. He really wants to come back on and chop it up too.
Let's do it.
And I'd like to do that sometime in the near future once we kind of just get our ducks in a row on some of these videos and album release.
I got some dates open in October.
That would probably be perfect. Something like that. Yeah, that'd be really fun.
All right. Anything else you want to get to there?
I think on my checklist we kind of ran
you got a gang full of stickers over here.
That Vietnamese cafe trailer I just wanted to mention. Jackie Nguyen would be a really interesting host.
Oh, I want her on here.
Yeah,
if she's down,
I definitely endorse her. I mean, we've only talked a couple times, but
I love the concept. I like the idea.
Her her project and mission is really interesting, but then I don't know that much of her backstory, but it is compelling. She's a stage actress. She was on, I believe she was on Miss Saigon when the pandemic hit. And so this is kind of her, this cafe is her response to her vocation being pulled out from under her.
Okay, cool.
And not being able to.
Great. I'd love to have her on. This sounds amazing.
So, yeah. And I mean, talking to her, like, it was like the longer I talked to her, the more sort of like parallels or intrigue that appeared. Like she's really into hip hop, so like the idea of her thing is she's like first generation Vietnamese, so the authenticity of the cultural representation of what she's serving, plus like she grew up in Cali and she lived in New York for 10 years and stuff, and so there's like a real strong hip hop influence on her. I think her boyfriend's a hip hop dancer, and I mean he looks like it. You know, because if you're gonna do that hip hop stuff, you got to be in good shape and stuff.
Yeah, I'd love this. I'd love to have her. It sounds awesome.
Yeah, man. So I want to mention that, and then we talked about the show. We talked about the projects. I ran through my checklist again. LucidFlows on Instagram. Check me out, and the stuff that that I didn't know the information for, as far as like the Lemonade Park show, the timing. And
no,
all
that's
that
fun
of
for
stuff.
people.
I'm gonna post all that.
I want people that are listening right now, I want them to actually go check it out for themselves too, just to get an idea. Maybe sometimes just looking up, Lemonade Park on Instagram might give you that extra motivation that you need to get out and be like, oh, this looks kind of cool. This looks really, maybe you don't know what to think of it. And it looks super inviting. It looks like a cool, chill vibe. It's in the West Bottoms. I mean, that's a cool spot right now.
Oh yeah. And
it's live music. Everyone wants live music right now. Get your ass out there and go see it.
Yeah, and I mean, spending time outdoors listening to live music is
the best.
That's always one of my favorites.
Soul cleansing.
And I think everyone's hungry for getting back to shows, but I love the idea of a venue that it specifically was engineered, designed as a response to the current situation that we're in, and is able to, or focused on providing a venue where everyone can have a safe distance from each other, be safe, not just be careless and stuff. And even the questions that I've been asking are like, what about sanitizing mics, and like what other artists sharing space, like how's that? And I haven't gotten all of the answers on that, but I've gotten assurances that all those considerations,
just roll the dice.
All those considerations have been addressed, and they have an answer for all those. So I'm just really interested to see this, to do this. I'm excited to get back to it and to get back on the mic, because it's sort of, it's part of me. So being away from it, I've felt part of me missing.
I bet.
I know Lou feels the same way too, because his identity as an MC is so like quintessential with who he is. Right. I mean, that dude is writing all the time. His pen game is just ridiculous. But if you just keep creating, have an opportunity to share and to establish connections with people, then it just kind of, you get backed up and stuff. And I think I get the impression he deals with these sort of stresses a little bit maybe better than I do at times. He's got a really admirable level head. As I talk to him, I always have like text threads going with him and Joker, and it's everything from, hey, here's an idea for this track, or here's an idea for a video, to here, check out this thing that I just watched, or have you guys seen this movie, or dude, my day is shit, or this thing just happened, or this bombshell, or whatever. And man, that dude's always helping me and Joker like keep our heads kind of like on track and stuff.
Nice.
And I think that a lot of that goes into our music, and so that's gonna, I feel, be cathartic to share as well once we start getting this stuff out there.
I'm excited to hear the new stuff that Mokes has.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
It's very experimental. I mean, sort of like the stories that we talked about. We got story songs, like
nice.
with a song called "Ain't Nobody There" that'll be coming out soon, and it's like
how many songs do you guys get to play?
I don't know.
Lemonade Park.
We need to put together our set. I think our set will be like 25 minutes. Or
okay,
20,
cool.
25.
Nice.
And you can squeeze a lot of material into that, especially, our hip hop songs aren't typically too lengthy.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that'll probably be like 8 tracks or something, 8 or 9.
Dang, that's a whole CD. That's an album.
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But we're excited, man. We're gonna put it down. We'll do some good raps and
some good raps. September 12th.
Yeah, man.
Lemonade Park.
We're gonna rap it fast, rap it slow.
LucidFlows on Instagram.
Yeah.
Holler at him.
Knock me down and bounce back like a bop back clown that'll lay you out flat.
Yeah. Thanks for being here again.
Thanks for having me, dude.
You want to say anything before we get off the mic here and get out of here?
Support local artists, support local music.
Amen.
Support this dude. If you're already listening or watching this, then
support me.
You already know what's up. Yeah, man. I just to you like let's continue to build like we did with the with Primordial Brew, that being such a cool, and for anyone who doesn't know, like Ryan let me help design the flyers.
You made the flyer, yeah. It was amazing.
So that was
fucking cool.
That was
so
fun.
Cool.
I didn't expect that to turn out that well, but
it was amazing.
Once I got the little like primordial creature like
so
floating
cool.
in the beer bottle, right? And then I had the epiphany of like, okay, so the other side needs to be sort of like a beer label or whatever. Like, so this is, like this is the beer, the Primordial Brew, but it's also the event. So instead of a beer label with all the beer information, it's all the entertainment and information.
I've got it in there. I need to frame it and put it in here. I get lazy. I will. It's getting framed. I got that, and I have a Brandon Patrick, one of the comics that was there that night.
He's great. Yeah.
I have a sketch that the other comic did of him, like a charcoal sketch. That's really good. That I'm going to frame and hang in here too.
Yeah, you're talking about Aaron?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's a good painter, dude.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He told me that night that he painted, and I didn't dismiss it, but I hadn't checked out his stuff yet. He does a lot of landscape and still life and stuff, and he's got chops, man.
He's legit.
It's really cool. As a multidisciplinary artist, when I do see other people doing it, I always have a more innate appreciation of what they're doing.
Nice. Shout out to Aaron Scarborough.
Yeah, but man, both those dudes are hysterical. I was laughing my ass off that.
Yeah, that was a good night, man. I really can't thank you enough for being a part of that. You were a big part of that.
Yes. So more stuff like that, not just events for events' sakes, but any way in which we can kind of build to let's talk about the showcase thing and
let's do it. I'm always down and open for new stuff.
Cool, man.
All right, man.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here. Fist bump.
All right.
Thanks for having me, dude. Boom. We're out of here.
Boom shakalaka.
Bye.